Well, I'm sure by now all of you are aware that Woodmo are the online expert when it comes to spare parts, and the best point is that they have the spare parts for all vehicles available in India. So even if your car is out of production now, maybe you have a last generation model, even then they have the spare part available. They have the entire catalog, and the best point is that they have the same spare part from a host of different component makers, which gives you great flexibility in the pricing overall. So check them out today. Check out the app. It's available both for iOS as well as Android devices, and also check out the website for the latest schemes as well as offers. Well, so before beginning this video, let me just quickly give you a message, and that message is that whenever you're planning to drive off your car, always wear your seat belt. Yes, always belt up first. This is your first active safety device inside any car, so always put this on when you are taking your car out and your loved ones out inside the car, and always check if people in the back seat are also wearing their seat belts. Not only see yourself and the passenger, but also people in the back seat, because as I said, this is the first safety device in any vehicle. Anyways, as you have seen by the thumbnail today, I'm driving the Celerio, and I had requested Maruti for an automatic car, and I requested them for a Swift initially, but they didn't have a Swift in their fleet. So they said that if you want a car primarily for the city, why don't you try our Celerio and drive it around? And I didn't just say no, because when I drove this car, last year when I test drove this car, I was very impressed with it. The overall packaging, the overall driving bits were quite good. So I wanted to test it out for a longer time and see how is it to drive in the city. So in today's video, I'm going to give you some positives, a few negatives as well, tell you genuinely about the likes and dislikes about this car. Now let's begin with some negatives, because a lot of you say that I don't talk about negatives and always talk about positives. The first big negative that I have on this car, the big issue on this car that I face and I didn't like, is of course the fact that the power window buttons are placed here in the middle for the front ones and for the rear passengers over here. Because sometimes when passengers sit in the back seat, they think that this car doesn't have power window buttons at the back, so they feel very amused and they ask me how to open it. And initially I also couldn't figure out where the buttons are, and then I looked down here and then I realized, oh no, the button's over here. So that's something which I think Maruti Suzuki engineers and designers should fix immediately, because this is something which is a basic these days on cars. You always prefer your buttons to be here, or where they should be on the door pads at the back and the front. So that's a big issue which I think Maruti Suzuki engineers should fix. The second issue is that the start stop, the idle start stop over here, sometimes it just cuts off very quickly and very immediately. Sometimes you might just be standing for a couple of seconds and it just shuts off, and before you know it, somebody else from the other side will cut past you, and you'll be waiting for your engine to restart again. So most of the times I just switch it off when I'm stuck in stop-go traffic, because I don't want to lose time and let others pass me before the engine gets on again. So that's also something maybe that they have to do with the engine mapping or tuning, and that's something which they should do and fix quite fast. The other thing which should be improved, of course, is the fact that the design of the gauges I think could be a little better. The speedometer is quite okay, but I think the other digital gauge that they have with the ref counter and the fuel gauge and stuff is a little difficult to read, and sometimes you have to take your eyes off and concentrate on it to check out what the readings are over there. So that's also a design which I think the engineers and the designers should think about changing and make it look a little better. The earlier car was easy to read, it had the button in the right place, and of course it was quite a good package. This one is also quite good. Now that the negatives are out of the way, let me tell you about the positives, because there are quite a few positives on this car. The first big positive, of course, is the fact that this car, the AMT gearbox on this car is quite nice and nippy to drive. Yes, a lot of AMTs, they are those jhatkas, they don't feel easy to drive, they have those lurchiness. This one also has them, don't get me wrong, but it only has them if you're pushing the accelerator pedal really hard. If you're using it in a nice manner, if you're using it nicely, sedately, then all those jhatkas are taken care of. It moves the gas quite easily, and even if you use it in the manual mode, you pull it towards yourself or push it forward, the gas change within a second or so. So it's not very lurchy gearbox, not a lazy gearbox, and it's quite an improved high AMT gearbox. And it's not a lazy gearbox, it's not a lurchy gearbox, it's quite an improved AMT gearbox. So that's something which a lot of buyers will appreciate. What you'll also appreciate is the nippy nature of this car. It's a very nimble car to drive, completely hassle-free. If you're driving a compact SUV or an SUV, and after that you're getting back in this car, like we have a few compact SUVs in our fleet, when you get back in this car, you just feel so easy, because the controls are light, the visibility is good, the steering wheel control is light. You just feel so nice and so relaxed when you're driving this car. That's something which I think a lot of customers will also appreciate about the Celerio. One more fact that I really like about this car is the fact that the fuel efficiency is really very consistent. It's been delivering 16-17 kpl on a regular basis, and sometimes on the highway, I haven't used the highway too much, but on that occasional trip which I took it, it delivered 19 as well, a mixture of city and highway use. So that was quite good. And I really enjoy the fuel efficient nature of this car. You tank it up and it lasts you easily for the entire week. If you're driving regularly 50-60 kilometers on a daily basis, it'll only drop down to about a quarter by the end of the week after 5 or 6 days. So that's something which gives you good peace of mind as well. And these are things which I appreciate. I really like the seat comfort as well. You also like the seat comfort because the seats are quite nice, and back seat space also is generally quite good. A lot of compact hatchbacks and compact cars don't have back seat space, but this one seems to have it in good amounts. So these are the big positives about this car, and some negatives which I mentioned at the start of the video. I've only driven it for about 500 kilometers, so I've only kept it for about a month right now. It's been with me for about a few weeks. So yes, give it some time, and we'll tell you more about the flaws, the positives and the negatives. But this was of course an initial video. What do you want to know about this car? You can let me in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to see the full in-depth video review where I talk about the other details, you can watch it in the link below, and the pop-out banner also. You can check it out over there. Anyways guys, I am so happy and so grateful that you've seen this video. If you did enjoy watching it, give us a like. If you didn't enjoy watching it, give us a dislike. And of course, as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And always wear your seatbelts whenever you're traveling in the car with your loved ones. We'll see you guys very soon in the next video. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.